Poco have just officially announced the Poco X2, their second phone, but actually their first phone as an independent company outside of Xiaomi. Ironic then that the Poco X2 literally is a Redmi K30 4G. I've had this phone for a few months now. It's been out in China for a really long time. It's a really good phone, but I'm quite surprised that Poco have literally just scratched out the Redmi branding, stuck on a Poco logo and launched it as their new phone. So the specs of the Poco X2 you will know all too well. If you watch the channel, you'll have seen my unboxings of the Redmi K30, also the speed tests and the camera tests of that phone, and this is exactly the same phone as the Poco X2. Poco spent the entire launch event comparing the Poco X2 to the Realme X2. Considering they know exactly who their competition is, I find it quite funny that they named the phone exactly the same name as Realme's phone. So a 730G chipset, a 120Hz refresh rate screen, an LCD screen with a cutout on the top right corner. 27-watt fast charging, but we already knew all of this. The K30 from Redmi and Xiaomi has been out for a few months. So the biggest difference for me between the Redmi K30, Poco call it the X2, and the Realme X2 really comes in the screen. Whilst the Poco X2 uses a 120Hz display, it is LCD, whereas on the Realme X2, you only get a 60Hz display, but it is an OLED with an underscreen fingerprint sensor. And because of the OLED screen, it's thinner, lighter, more compact, and I really like the design of the Realme X2. Also, a really important thing to note about Poco's new X2, which is the Redmi K30, is that because it uses a Snapdragon 730G, which is a mid-range chipset, it actually can't use 120Hz refresh rates in PUBG. I have played PUBG on this phone time and time again, and you cannot use high refresh rates. The option just isn't there in the game because it uses this mid-range chipset. It does, however, make using the phone all in all very smooth when flicking through apps and flicking through the home screen. But a big point of the phone is 120Hz gaming, and in PUBG at least, you can't do that. Another really good point about the Poco X2 is the main camera sensor, which is 64 megapixels, the same as the Realme X2, but it uses the brand new Sony IMX686 camera sensor. In my camera tests of the phone and versus the Realme X2, it held up really well. Again, you can go and have a look at the videos and decide for yourself which one you prefer. It's also a little unfair for Poco to keep comparing themselves to the Realme X2. The Realme X2 has been out for a really long time right now, and this phone from Poco, Redmi, is really brand new, at least to the market Poco are launching this in, which is India. So my opinion on this is, if Poco still were a Xiaomi company, that would be absolutely no problem whatsoever. However, Poco now are a different company, their own company, and the fact that they're just reselling a Redmi phone, for me, is a little bit of a strange move. The benefits of this, however, is that India at least is getting this phone as soon as possible. The reasons why Redmi don't want to launch it under the Redmi brand are still unclear. I'm guessing they'll be launching the 5G version in India maybe, and they've got plans for a lot more products. So I'm guessing this product in particular, they were happy to give to the Poco brand and company as their first phone outside of Xiaomi. The price in India at least was 15,999, which altogether again isn't too dissimilar to the price in China anyway. All in all, a good phone at a good price. The biggest question in all of this is, what exactly is Redmi's strategy, and why were they okay with giving this phone away to Poco as a separate company? I guess we'll wait a few months and see what Redmi have in store for us in terms of new phones. Subscribe for the latest tech news and videos. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.